I can smell onions, which can only mean one thing. Mr. Steve is in the kitchen at the moment cooking tonight's meal. I can't wait. Here we are again. We are back together. It is English Addict on a very wet and dull Sunday. We have a lot of rain falling at the moment, but here in the studio it is not dull because this is English Addict coming to you live and direct from the birthplace of the English language, which is, of course, you know where it is. It's England. Now it's time for us to get together and enjoy the lovely words and phrases of the English language. Here we are again, and it's lovely to be with you once more. Hi everybody, this is Mr. Duncan in England. How are you today? Are you okay? I hope so. Are you feeling happy today? I hope you have a smile on your face right now. This is the place where we like to have fun. I know what you're going to say, Mr. Duncan. Mr. Duncan, we are not allowed to have fun anymore. You are not allowed to enjoy yourself. Well, this is the place where you can have lots of fun. If you like to smile, if you like to have a lovely glowing smile on your face, this is the place to be. Every Sunday from 2 p.m. UK. Excuse me, I am suffering from something at the moment. I have the smell of onions in my nose and it's very distracting. I'm sure you've had the same experience if you've been cooking something in the kitchen and you've been chopping up onions. Mr. Steve has been doing that, and now everywhere smells like onions, and unfortunately it's gone up my nose and it has irritated the inside of my nasal passages. There is nothing worse than that. It's great to be back with you again, even though the weather is absolutely awful. We have had so much rain over the past 24 hours, and there is the view outside the window right now. It was raining a few moments ago. The rain has stopped now, but we have had so much rain. I can't begin to tell you how much rain we've had over the past 24 hours. And of course, across Europe, lots of rain has been falling. One of the worst affected places, Poland. So if you are watching in Poland, I hope your furniture is not floating around in your living room. So I am very concerned about this. I don't like to hear of my YouTube viewers having difficulties. It really does make me feel a little bit down in the mouth. But we are not here to do that. I am here to cheer you up wherever you are in the world, whether you are in Brazil, Argentina, or even Japan, or perhaps you are somewhere in the Middle East watching at the moment. Please say hello to me and I will say hello to you. Oh, it's raining again, by the way. It's just started. So yes, it's raining again. So as I said, it's not raining. It started raining. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the British weather. Oh, by the way, we have reached the autumn equinox. I have no idea what it means, but it has something to do with the equal daylight. So everyone gets equal daylight and night time. As we head towards winter. But first of all, we have the most beautiful season ever. the most wonderful season in the world is coming soon, and that is autumn. I am really looking forward to autumn. I think it is the most beautiful of all the seasons in the world. We have a very busy 2 hours. What's that you say? Is it just you? For 2 hours? We have to sit and watch you for 2 hours talking? Is that what it is? Is that what this is? It's just you talking? No, it's not just me. There is also someone else here as well, joining in with all the fun. A little bit later on, we have our special guest. He is here every single Sunday without fail. Mr. Steve will be here at around about 2:30. So it isn't just me for 2 hours. You have a little bit of me, and then you have a lot of me, and this guy. And can I just tell you, this guy is what we call a loose cannon. It's a great phrase in English. If we describe a person as a loose cannon, it means we don't know what that person is going to say or do. We have no idea. He could say something controversial. He might insult all of the viewers. And ladies and gentlemen, can I just say right now, he has done that in the past. So Mr. Steve will be with us at around about 2:30. Do not be fooled by his innocent appearance. Beneath that charming exterior, there is a rather crazy person. So Mr. Steve will be here in around about 20 minutes from now. There is something I have forgotten, of course. I have forgotten all about you, the live chat. Hello to the live chat. It's nice to have you here today. I wonder who was first. I know who was first. You know. I know. Everyone knows. One person in particular knows. Vitas, congratulations to you. You are first on today's live chat. Again. How do you do it? Even I want to know. What is your secret? How do you get your finger to click so quickly? I need to know your secret. Because you never know, you might need a fast finger. Perhaps your favourite pop band or your favourite rock group decides to suddenly go on tour with a concert. And perhaps you have to buy one of those very expensive tickets. That is one of those occasions where you do need a fast finger. You need that finger to click very quickly so you can get your horrendously overpriced tickets. It's the only way to do it, to be honest with you. Who else is here today? We have Olga. Hello, Olga. We have Beatrice. Hello, Beatrice. Are you still in the mountains? Please let us know on the live chat. We also have Claudia. What's cooking, Claudia? What have you got in your pot? Please let me know. Zenek is here as well. Hello to you. Thank you for joining us today on English Addict. That is the name of the show. That's what all of this is. It's all about the English language. Lots of things to talk about. Lots of things to say. Lots of things to do. Hello also to Flower. Hello, Flower. It's very nice to see you here today. Mwah! I can't believe I just did that. I hope you don't mind that I just did that. Please don't complain to anyone. It was done in a friendly, sincere way. Please don't worry. Hello, Fadi or Fady. Hello to you as well. Abdelak is here, watching in Marrakesh, maybe. Hello, Morocco. It's nice to see you here today. We also have Zudzika. We also have Faribours, who says hello, Mr. Duncan, and hello to Mr. Steve. It's nice to see you here today. Buying things that you have bought, something you have bought, or something you have bought from another person that is not new. We are looking at that later on. We are also looking at modern life. I know what you're going to say, Mr. Duncan, modern life. Modern life is so hectic, living in the 21st century. Now, when I was at school, the teachers said to me, Duncan, you are very lucky because you will see the most amazing things happen. By the 21st century, people will hardly have to work. There will be flying cars, and man and woman will be going into space, exploring the universe. My teacher was wrong about all of those things. In fact, it's almost the reverse of those things. We're not going into space. No one seems to be going anywhere. We're working harder than we ever have in our entire lives. Here in the UK, they are now saying that we will have to work until we are 103. What's that all about? So we are looking at modern life. I know on the internet, a lot of people like to discuss lots of different subjects. Here, of course, we talk about all sorts of things, but we are friendly as well. We are a friendly place. Not like other places where people always argue. Oh, I don't think what you're saying is right. Well, I don't think what you're saying is right either. Oh, let's argue about it forever and ever. Nothing like that. Everything here is lovely, nice, friendly, and happy. And of course, we have Mr. Steve as well. What more could you ask for? A couple of more hellos, and then we will get down to business. The business is the English language, of course. Hello also to Melinda. Hello, Melinda. I don't recognise your name. Is it your first time here on the live chat? Can I say hello? Melinda, Melinda, it's nice to see you here. I will try not to hinder Melinda. Forget that bit. It wasn't very funny. I'm very sorry about that. That is not a sample of the sort of thing that I will be doing during today's live stream. That was a weak moment, a very weak moment of time. Marcia is here. Also we have Vai Huang. I have a feeling you are watching in Vietnam. A big Chin Shan to you as well. Who else is here today? Marco is here watching in Rome. I'm sure you are feeling very happy at the moment in Rome because the temperature has dropped. It's a little cooler in Rome. I know across Italy it has been very, very hot. Nguyen Mott says, Mr. Duncan, it is me, your lover. I know that I'm very easy on the eye. It's true. But I do have lots of admirers around the world. I'm still waiting for the right offer to come along. I'm sure it will one day. Mr. Paul is here. Hello, Mr. Paul. How are you today? That sounds very formal, by the way. Mr. Paul. Hello to Rishab. Hello to Rishabh watching in India. Can I say a big hello to India? I know over the past couple of weeks I have had lots of people joining my YouTube channel from India. So a big hello to you. Oh, he's here, everyone. I wasn't sure if he was going to join us today. I wasn't sure if we were going to see you. Can I say a big hello to Luis Mendez is here today. Hello, Luis. It's nice to see you back here as well. On a serious note, can I say hello to Irene Apraxine? Now, I know at the moment you are having a difficult situation in your life, but we are here for you. And if you want to join in on the live chat, or if you just want to watch and have some fun whilst watching, hopefully we will succeed in cheering you up during these difficult times. So Irene, we are all thinking of you, and a big special hello to you as well. Today we are looking at lots of things, and you know I love English phrases. I love English so much. I think one day I will marry the English language. At the moment I can't because it's not allowed, but I think one day marrying the English language will be legal. Here we go. Here's a great phrase. I love this phrase. This is something we all do from time to time. You know what life is like. Life sometimes can be a series of repeating things you have to do again and again, and it can become a little boring and tedious. And this phrase is often used when we are doing something that we've done many, many times before, or perhaps something we are not even interested in doing, but we still have to do it. The phrase is go through the motions. To go through the motions. To do something without interest or genuine involvement. A tired old routine might cause one to do something in this way. You will simply go through the motions. You are doing something, but you don't really have much interest in that thing. It is a little tedious, perhaps, maybe a little boring, or perhaps it is something you've done many times before. We all do it. Maybe if you are doing a certain activity, maybe you are having some love time with your partner, and if you've been together for many years, it might get a little boring, so you just go through the motions. That's all I'm saying about that. But it can be anything. It could be your job. Maybe your job, something you do every day. You've been doing that same job for many years. We might say that you go through the motions. So when we talk about motion, we are talking about movement. In this particular phrase, we are talking about something you are actually doing. You are going through the motions. You are doing that thing. But it does not give you any pleasure. You don't feel any enjoyment. You are simply going through the motions. And I think it can happen in life. Of course, life cannot always be exciting. It can't always be a surprise party around every corner. It can't. It's impossible. It really is not possible to do that. So sometimes it is necessary to simply go through the motions. You do it, but you've lost interest in that particular activity. You are not as interested as you used to be. many things. Relationships. Sometimes you might find that two people together for a long time, they might become a little bored with each other. Their relationship might just be going through the motions. You are both a little tired or bored of the situation. I hope you are not feeling bored today, because we have lots of things to talk about. We might talk about fast food on today's English Addict, and there is a reason for that, because Mr. Steve and myself, we went to see Mr. Steve's mother. Now, sadly, we lost Steve's mother a couple of years ago. She sadly died. We went yesterday to have a look at her gravestone, clean everything and put some nice fresh flowers on top. Steve bought some lovely red roses. They were absolutely beautiful, and he put them on Steve's mother's grave, and it looked lovely. I don't know why, but whenever you go to a place like a graveyard or a place where you are remembering other people, there is always an atmosphere that falls across the area. So it was a strange day, but we did also go and have some fast food. And we both agreed yesterday that we experienced the best fast food ever. We might talk about that a little bit later on. I know some people prefer KFC, some people like to go to Burger King, or maybe they like to have a McDonald's from time to time. I have to say, I don't eat fast food very often, so maybe during the year I might eat fast food maybe 5 or 6 times during a whole year. So I don't eat it very often, but we had the most delicious, the most gorgeous fast food yesterday. We might talk about that a little bit later on. Also, buying things that have been used already. There are many ways of looking at that particular subject. We will look at that later on. Also, are you in the mood for looking at some horse idioms? We have horse idioms coming up later on. I hope you are looking forward to those. Lots of expressions, lots of phrases that we can use concerning this particular animal. A little bit later on. I hope you will stay with me for that as well. Oh, by the way, this area in which I live, I live in a place called Shropshire, a beautiful scenic area. We were in the news this week, a big story concerning one particular animal. And it wasn't a horse. It was another animal, a very unusual animal. We will talk about that a little bit later on as well. We will have a quick break, and then I will rearrange the furniture. I will put the plastic sheets down on the floor because Mr. Steve is about to arrive, and he will be with us in a few moments from now. So I hope you will stay with us. This is English Addict. We are with you today, Sunday, the 22nd of September 2024. Don't go away. There is still lots more to come right here.
boy now.
The English Addict is with you today. It's not just me. No, it isn't just me here. We also have someone else joining us today. For those who are worried that you will have to stare at this for 2 hours, well, guess what? You have something else to look at, something very attractive. Some people have said even gorgeous. You are free to make up your own mind. Here he is. It is the one, the only, Mr. Steve.
Hello, beautiful, wonderful, loyal viewers from across the globe. It's lovely to be here once again on Sunday afternoon UK time. It's nice to be inside for us today in the UK because outside the weather is atrocious.
You're not
There's
kidding.
a good word for you, an English word, atrocious, very bad. You see, I'm not just a pretty face, I'm here to teach you English as well. Oh, Mr. Duncan, there's lots of new people on the live chat. Welcome to you all.
Yep.
And feel free to say whatever you like on the live chat. We even take personal questions, but try and keep them to English if you can.
Yeah.
But if you can't resist, then we're agony aunts. If you've got any problems in your life, we'll answer those as well in English.
Yes, but of course, keep it clean and not too personal, because Steve does get easily
excited. I mean, yes, upset. Yes,
embarrassed. Now, it's been an interesting couple of days. We went away yesterday. We went to see. Now, I mentioned this a few moments ago, Steve, so I have prepared everyone for it. We went to see your mother, or should I say your mother's grave yesterday. So you put some lovely flowers on there. And it was an interesting day as well, because we had a journey that seemed to take forever. And I don't know why sometimes when you're driving, why does it sometimes feel as if a journey you are taking takes forever?
I know, it's only an hour and 40 minutes for us to drive to Banbury, which is where my mother used to live. But the journey, it always was I never enjoyed the journey. I think it's to do with, sometimes if the road surface is very poor and noisy, it causes stress. And you get a lot of road noise, and after a long time that gives me a bit of stress. So it's never been a particularly nice journey. It's complicated. It's not just get on the motorway and go there. It's A road, B roads, there's a bit of motorway. It's you have to concentrate when you're driving.
But even if you drive relatively the same direction, one journey will always seem faster or slower than the other. So when you go somewhere, I've always noticed, Steve, if you go somewhere, that journey always seems to take longer than the journey back, even if the journey is through a very similar route. But we did something yesterday, and we had a lot of surprises yesterday, most of them not very nice, but we had a lovely surprise because we went to get something to eat. We went to a service station that is on the side of the motorway. And these days, I have to say, Steve, I'm really impressed these days with these little service stations that are on the motorway. I'm sure you have them in your country as well. So you might be driving along a road and there will be a cafe or sometimes a very large place where you can buy food. And these days, they have all the big brands, all the big fast food outlets. And we went to one particular place. We got some chicken. I'm sure you know where it was, out there. I can already hear people shouting, is it KFC? Yes, it was. We had the most amazing, I think it may have been the best fast food we've ever tried in our lives.
Well, yes, we don't eat much fast food
No.
or fast food, as Mr. Duncan would say. Fast or fast. You can pronounce it either way. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And have you already mentioned this? Because I saw a comment from Beatrice about she's saying that she doesn't eat junk food. It is junk food.
Well, it's all right. So I said that we eat normally about 5 or 6 times a year together. So we don't really do it every day or every week even.
I think yesterday we were just very tired, very hungry. We hadn't eaten all day. I had to cut some bushes back in my mother's house, which took a long time.
Oh.
And it was just the right thing to have at that time. And it was very satisfying and we enjoyed it. Sometimes a bit of junk food is good for you. Sometimes, what's the phrase? The phrase goes, a little of what you fancy does you good.
That's what they say.
That's a phrase. A little of what you fancy does you good. So now and then, it's not, when I say junk, it's chicken. So it's not exactly, you're getting protein out of that and some vitamins. So it can't be that bad. And we had beans with it. Beans are good for you.
Yeah.
So it wasn't all bad.
No, well, what I'm actually talking about is not the health benefits, but the finishing off of the actual meal. It was, I don't know. I felt like we were in a 4-star or even 5-star KFC.
Oh.
I think so. It was quite incredible.
But isn't that true? Sometimes, if you're on a long road trip, or if you're on holiday or something, sometimes just a bit of junk food is okay now and then.
I do agree with you, Steve. A little bit of what you fancy
does you good.
Does you good. So it might not be good health-wise, but it might cheer you up. It might make you feel a little better. You might say, oh, that feels better. And we did afterwards. We had that lovely meal. And of course, there are other fast food chains, McDonald's, Burger King, lots of others as well, Pizza Hut. Oh, I wish I hadn't said that. Oh, I haven't been to Pizza Hut for such a long time. I always like to go to their salad bar and watch all of the people sneezing and coughing into all of the dips. It's not very nice, but there you go.
Can I just say thank you to Rishab Trivedi saying, I'm looking very cool. Yes, this shirt is many years old. I bought it in Turkey when I was on holiday. And I've always liked this shirt. It's a bit different. And I must say that anything that we've ever bought from Turkey was a very high quality. Clothes, sandals, anything. It seemed to be incredibly high quality. We haven't been for 10 years to Turkey, something like that?
No, more than that.
More than that. I've still got a pair of flip-flops that are still perfectly all right. I've still got a hat that hasn't worn out. Very good quality clothes in Turkey, I've got to say. It's a Turkish shirt from a sort of a trendy fashion shop, you would say, but it wasn't expensive.
No.
And I like to wear it on the live stream because it's bright, it's cheery, and hopefully, thank you for your nice comment.
Yes. And we're both in red today. I got some complaints. Can you believe it? Because I was wearing my white T-shirt over the past couple of live streams, and I was asked, would it be possible to wear your red shirt because we prefer it? We like it when you wear your red shirt. So I'm wearing my red today, but the only problem is the camera doesn't like it, because what it does is it changes the colour of everything else around me. So maybe today I'm looking a little bit red in the face, and it's because of this. And some people, of course, like wearing red We said this earlier, didn't we, Steve? There are certain colours, if you wear them, maybe a red hat or maybe a red shirt or a yellow shirt, they really do stand out. So that's the reason why I am wearing my red shirt and red hat today, because people complained about it. They said, we want to see it. We want to see
You can buy these shirts, by the way. Well, they're on Mr. Duncan's channel, so if you wanted to have an English Addict T-shirt, you can actually buy it.
They're not anymore, Steve.
Oh, right. Okay, they're not. Sorry.
2 months ago, I stopped doing that.
Okay. Well, anyway, right. Talking of junk food, Pedro says, do you usually eat traditional English breakfast, Mr. Steve? It's a very fat meal. Yes, so traditional British breakfast would be bacon, eggs, sausage, with maybe some fried bread, maybe some beans, sometimes black pudding. So most British people wouldn't have that for breakfast now. My mother always used to cook it when I was growing up. When I was a child, every breakfast I would have bacon, eggs, sausage, and it's full of protein, so it's good for a growing lad.
Yes. Well, the other thing is, Steve, it's something we occasionally have. So maybe you go to a cafe, or maybe if you go to a local place that has a small cafe, quite often. Places like here, for example, in Much Wenlock. So there are about 3 or 4 cafes, and they all serve full English breakfast. So that is what it consists of, as Steve just said. Although it is often seen also as quite unhealthy.
Yes, so Mitra points out, hello Mitra Karimi, that there are a lot of preservatives, a lot of chemicals that you don't know in fast food. And of course, these are often linked to health issues. So it's nice now and then. It's comforting. Yeah. I think what you can say about junk food is, like a burger, sometimes you just want a burger.
Yes.
I mean, sometimes I'm out on the road seeing customers. Usually I'll have a healthy sandwich, although is it healthy? Because you don't really know what's in it when you buy a supermarket sandwich. But sometimes, some days, maybe once a month, every 2 months, I just want a burger. And I think my body is telling me something. Get some protein and enjoy it.
Yeah.
And sometimes it just satisfies you now and then, but obviously it's not good for you because you don't know what hideous hidden ingredients are in there. And, but Mr. Duncan's cooked me a lovely meal. So we eat healthily most of the time. I mean, when you think about it, if we went back hundreds of years, 100 years, people didn't always eat lots of healthy food.
No.
They'd be eating sort of scraps that were left over. Was food that much healthier 100 years ago, 200 years ago?
Steve, there was no McDonald's 100 years ago. In fact, I didn't realise this. McDonald's have only been going for around 50 years. I always thought it was longer than that. So they've been celebrating this year with their 50th anniversary. I don't know about KFC. I'm not sure about them, but I know they've been around for a very long time as well. I think that came around in about the 1950s as well. Colonel Sanders, of course. I'm not sure if he was a real colonel, but there is one thing he did know. He knew his secret ingredients, his secret mix of herbs and spices, because they don't say herbs in American English. I don't know why. They don't say herbs, they say herbs. I don't know why.
Saturino is pointing out that you being in red looks like you're standing up for Donald Trump.
Well, that's not. Well, I think that's not. Well, of course not.
I know. It looks like it's a joke.
Oh,
it's a
yes,
joke.
I'm just doing a bit now, Steve. It's of course not. Of course, red. Red is the colour that I like to wear because it always gets you noticed wherever you go. The other week we went to the show, didn't we, in Moreton and Marsh, and I was wearing everything. Everything was red, and it's very easy to stand out in the crowd, especially when you are over 6 foot tall.
Well, I could find you hundreds of people, acres of ground. Where's Mr. Duncan? There's his red hat. I could spot him a mile off.
Yes.
We say that's a phrase. Oh, I could spot you a mile off. It's a phrase that means, you could say maybe in Europe, I could spot you a kilometre off.
There you are.
The inference of that phrase is that you can see somebody from a long way away. Obviously, you can't see somebody a mile off. It's too far. But if you say, if someone's wearing a bright shirt and you comment on the shirt, you might, oh, your bright shirt, I could see you a mile off. Because it's a phrase to say, what a bright shirt, or what a colourful shirt, or something like that. You would only use mile in the UK and America, probably.
That's good.
But I wonder if you use that phrase in other countries.
Yes.
Kilometre. I could spot you a kilometre away.
You can also
a shirt like that.
Oh, okay, Steve. You can also stand out like a sore thumb.
Yes.
As well. We can say that someone who is easy to see or easy to spot in the crowd stands out like one of these, a sore thumb. So there's a good expression as well. We have a lot of things to talk about today, by the way.
Very busy.
A lot of things to talk about. We are looking at buying things that are used. I know we spoke about this a few weeks ago, but I'm looking at it from a different angle this week. And we are looking at modern life. A lot of people these days, we hear it all the time. You do, Steve, in your job. Your work colleagues, they are always moaning and complaining. Oh, no, wait there a minute. No, that's actually Steve doing that, not them. And people complain about modern life. They say everything is too fast, too much, too many things to remember and absorb. And we will be looking at that later on. However, here is a lovely story. Now, I don't know if you've heard about this, Steve. But
I'm all ears.
But this area has been on the news all week. Now, I don't know if you've heard about this, Steve, but there was a little animal that went missing during the week from an animal park not very far away from where we are standing right now. A very unusual creature, a creature that we don't get here naturally. But, of course, this one was here on display, walking around. But, unfortunately, it ran away. It disappeared. A very unusual creature that you can only find in certain parts of the world. However, the good news is the animal has been found. Here it is. Look at that. It's a capybara. Aren't they lovely? Isn't that cute?
I've never heard of that animal, Mr. Duncan.
Very often found in South America. So I would imagine quite a few of our viewers right now are going, oh, I've got 3 of those in my garden.
So where was it? Where did it escape from?
There's a local animal farm where people can go and visit and look at all of the unusual animals, very close to here. I can't remember the name now. I wish I'd written it down, but you know what happens. You can't prepare everything. A capybara is found in South America. It's big. Now, I didn't realise how large these are, because on that photograph you can't really tell. But it's actually as large as, I would say, a medium-sized dog. It's quite big, around 55 inches long, and it's around about the same in height. So it's actually quite a big animal. But on that photograph it looks quite small, doesn't it? You can't really get the scale of it, but it is actually quite a big animal. And all week in this area, people have been looking everywhere to try and find this little animal. By the way, its name is cinnamon. Cinnamon. It's not an easy word to say.
Cinnamon?
Why call an animal a name that's hard to pronounce?
They've called it after a spice, cinnamon, and it looks like the colour of cinnamon.
I think that might be the reason.
That's why they call it cinnamon. Well, Marcia has said, Marcia Helena Miranda Cardozo Padosta, have to say your full name. We have these is it the capybara, in the region where I live. And Beatrice says, yes, we've got them as well.
But they're occurring naturally.
Yes.
So you will walk down the road and maybe you see one of these just walking across the road in front of you. We don't have them here. They don't exist. However, you can find them sometimes in small animal farms or a place where people can visit. And this particular, I think it is a guy. I want to say man, or it might. I don't know. It may not have decided yet.
It's according to Vitas here, who's looked it up. Thank you, Vitas. It's the largest living rodent.
It's related to the guinea pig. And a mouse. They're all rodents. Rats. Saturino says that there's a lot in Venezuela, and they eat them. Oh,
as well. They're edible. But that's incredible to have those capybaras, or they're known by different names, capincho or capybara. But they've called it cinnamon because it's the colour of the spice cinnamon, I would say, which is a sort of a slightly reddy brown colour. The carpet in our living room is cinnamon.
That's a good reference. So if you've ever seen our living room carpet, you will now know what the colour is.
Bamboo for you says they taste like chicken.
You know what? You know what I'm thinking now, Steve? Are you thinking the same thing as me? I think. Well, unfortunately, we can't catch it now because it has been caught. That is the good news. So it was lost for a few days, and lots of people were looking out, trying to find this animal. And it's not small, so it was quite easy to spot. And apparently, it was found, and it is now back at the animal farm, or the place. It is a type of animal sanctuary, or a place where people can go along and look at the animals.
So what's not, Olga says it's not at the West Midlands Safari Park.
No,
it wasn't there.
They won't have those sorts of animals. I think that one would get torn to pieces by all the tigers.
Yeah, so we don't know where it is. We'll try and find out and let you know, Olga, but it must be somewhere near here. You mean near Much Wenlock or a bit further away?
It's actually in Telford.
Telford?
Yes. No, I didn't even realise that there was a place like that so near to where we live. But apparently it's in Telford, and it's very popular with people.
It lives near lakes, says Anna.
Oh.
Anna Claudia Duarte.
They remind me of beavers. No. They remind me of beavers. They look very similar, don't they? Let's get a closer look. I want to see it closer. Can we please go in a little closer? That's better. Thank you very much.
Quite a noble look.
Yes.
Quite a noble-looking creature.
It looks as if it's proud to be a capybara.
I'm not surprised. It's quite a good-looking animal. I wonder if they're good to keep as pets.
I don't, but they're a bit big.
Yeah.
I don't know what their poop is like. I would imagine their poop is very similar to a rabbit. So I imagine their poop coming out.
I wonder what they eat. They must like burrowing in the ground, maybe. Rodents, they sort of eat anything really, don't they, rodents?
They will eat anything, just like mice and rats. All I can say is I'm very pleased that rats are not as big as that. That would be a little worrying. So good news, in a world of bad news and cruel intentions, we have a lovely, lovely story of Cinnamon, the capybara, who is now being locked back up behind the fence. I'm sure we can all celebrate together with that one.
Busy as a beaver, says Fariborts. Related to modern life. Yes, if you're busy as a beaver, it means you're always active, doing something.
Yeah, we can say a person who is always active. They are always beavering around. I like that.
Yeah, beavering. It means you're a busy person.
Very busy. Mr. Steve, yesterday. Oh, sorry.
I just said that's me.
Mr. Steve.
Yes.
We were out yesterday and we had quite a dramatic journey back. Now, I didn't mention this, but on the way back home, we had to drive through some of the worst weather that we've ever driven in. And I was very quick to grab my phone and record some of those very strange moments of time that we experienced yesterday out on the road. Look, there we are. So Mr. Steve is driving along. We are on the M40 motorway, driving from Banbury, and the rain suddenly came down. It was raining so heavily, but Mr. Steve, he is such a good driver. He stayed calm. He stayed relaxed. He did not panic. But there, if you look closely, you can see all of the water coming off the car, off the tyres. And there was lots and lots of rain falling and parts of the motorway. I think some parts of the motorway, Steve, were actually flooded as well.
I've seen worse, Mr. Duncan. You didn't quite get the worst of it, but at one point I couldn't see out of the windscreen.
Look at that.
Yeah, it's rain. I'm sure in other parts of the world they have much heavier rain.
There's an ice cream van.
Yes, there's an ice cream van. But unfortunately, we tried to stop him because we fancied an ice cream after the chicken burger thing that we had. So, but unfortunately, we couldn't flag him down.
No.
If you try to flag somebody down, by the way, there's a good phrase for you. Like a policeman might flag you down, a person on the side of the road might flag you down. It means they're trying to get you to stop.
We can't. You're not on camera, Steve.
Fine, I know that. If you try to flag somebody down, it means you try and stop a moving vehicle.
Okay.
So it's worth. Well, it's just if you see a car, maybe there's been an accident.
Yeah.
And you want to stop the traffic from approaching too fast, you try to flag them down.
Yes. Well, it's almost like you're waving your hand as if it is a flag, and that's why we call it that.
A warning. Stop. Slow down. And that's a phrase that I use there. We try to flag down the ice cream van on the motorway. Obviously, you can't do that. It's illegal. But I just use that phrase and have explained it thus.
Also, it was a joke as well. Believe it or not, that once was a joke a very long time ago.
Thank you, Lewis. I wasn't careful earlier. I was getting a little aggressive at times yesterday on the road. I don't like to. I was getting impatient with people. You know, you go on the motor. There was somebody. This is one of my pet annoyances, Mr. Duncan. You're driving on the motorway, and there is, say, it's 3 lanes.
Okay.
Somebody in the middle lane decides to sit there at 65 miles an hour, and doesn't pull over into the inside lane, although there is plenty of space for them to do it. So I followed this person for a few miles, hoping that they would move in. I was in the inside lane. They were in the. I was doing 70, 75.
Okay.
They were and I thought, what am I going to do? Am I going to undertake him, which is illegal in the UK?
Right.
You're not allowed to undertake somebody.
Well, what does that mean?
That means in England it means on the motorway going up on the left-hand side of somebody. So in Europe, if you drive on the other side of the road, that would mean coming up on somebody's right-hand side and driving alongside them. It's illegal in the UK to undertake somebody.
But most people watching drive the opposite way round.
Well, exactly, yes.
So everything would be reversed.
Yes. So you're not supposed to do that. And so I didn't do that. I had to go all the way around him and back in, and it was very annoying. It's dangerous, actually, to do that because it slows everybody down and makes people have to make rash decisions.
Anyway.
Yes, Nitram, speed limit is 70 on the motorway, but because most people's speedometers are inaccurate, you can quite safely do 75 and you won't get pulled over by the police. In fact, you won't get pulled over by the police even if you're doing 80.
Yeah. Although, please, Steve, I did say earlier that Steve will say these things. Please don't go over the speed limit, because if you get caught, you might say, but there was a guy on the internet and he said I could go 80. And then they will use that video of Mr. Steve saying that. And then not only will that person be fined, they will probably come for me as well.
Well, anyway, we said that. Yes, miles per hour in the UK.
Yeah.
So 70 miles an hour, what's that, about 90 kilometres an hour, I think?
I have no idea.
I think it is. Maybe somebody can look it up.
I thought you would know, Steve.
Well, I can't instantly switch between miles and kilometres. But yes, I think that's about 90. Somebody can do the calculation for me, please. But yes, the speed limit in the UK on a motorway is 70.
That's it.
On all other roads, it's 60 unless otherwise indicated.
Yes. It can go as low as 20. It just depends where you are driving. Even though Steve normally just does 50 wherever he is. Even if he's in the driveway of the house, he does 50 miles an hour. He just doesn't care. He's got the tickets to prove it as well.
Tickets? I don't know what you mean.
We have some interesting phrases coming up in a few moments, Mr. Steve. It's just after 3 o'clock. English Addict is with you live. This is not recorded. This is not a replay, unless, of course, you are watching the replay. But this now is not the replay because you're watching it live. Although I'm not quite sure how you will tell the difference. Well, today is the 22nd of September at 3 UK time. If it isn't that, you're probably watching the recording. There we go. I think I got out of that quite well. We are looking at some words and phrases, Mr. Steve. I love words and phrases of the English language. We are going to look at some words and phrases in a few moments. We'll have a quick break so I can grab some water and make Mr. Steve more comfortable. Apparently he's got a numb bottom for some reason.
I'm fine now. I've adapted to your adjustments to this seat.
That's good.
I'm fine now, Mr. Duncan.
Here we go, Steve. We're going to have some flags of the world. Look out for your flag. And if it's not there, please let me know. And we will be right back with more English Addict. flags of the world, and I hope you did as well. Flags of the world, Mr. Steve. Did you see your flag? Was it there?
My flag? You mean the British flag? The Union Jack? I'm sure that was there, Mr. Duncan.
Well, I actually put the England flag.
The England flag, yes, controversial.
Is it? Why?
Well, we won't go into that.
Okay.
But it's not good to be seen as patriotic in this country anymore, unfortunately. But we won't go into that.
We're not doing that anymore.
I know we're not doing that. Okay. Rosa says, flag you down. Does that mean to ask for a ride? No, not quite. If you want to ask for a ride, you would be hitchhiking. You'd be hitching, they call it, don't they?
Yes.
You wouldn't, if you're flagging somebody down, you're trying to get somebody to stop because there's a danger.
Yeah. But can I just say, Steve, but you can flag a taxi. You can call a taxi. Hail is another one as well.
Hail a taxi, yes.
So you can technically say flag if you are on the road and a taxi goes by and you flag them down. But normally, as you said, Steve, it's done in an emergency, isn't it?
Yes, for a taxi, that's a bit different because the taxi would be expected to be stopping if somebody does that or makes a gesture. But normally the police will flag you down, or it means to stop because there's some emergency going on, usually.
I think so.
You could flag somebody down if there'd been an accident and you wanted to lift somewhere to the hospital. You wanted to get somebody to go to the hospital. But yeah, not normally to ask for a ride.
No.
Not normally.
No. Anyway, we have lots of things to do. We are looking at living in the modern age. Not necessarily a depressing thing. We will try to make some fun of it as well. And, of course, we are looking at words and phrases connected to an animal that is nearby to where we live. In fact, one of our neighbours has a whole field full of these particular animals. Would you like to have a look? This is a photograph that I took last week. Look at that. So I took that photograph whilst I was walking back home from town, and the sun was beginning to set. And I just got my phone and I took that picture, and I think it came out quite well. Now, I know what you're going to say, Mr. Duncan, that is just taken on an iPhone. It is, but I think it came out quite well. And I thought to myself, wouldn't it be fun to look at words and phrases connected to that particular animal? And I thought, yes, let's do that, shall we? Let's have a look at some words and phrases connected to the horse. I think that's a very good idea. So that is what we are going to do right now. I'm sure already, I have a feeling, Steve, that lots of people already have come up with quite a few of these. They have already prepared themselves for some horse idioms and phrases. So we will look at these now, Steve, one by one, and hopefully we will come up with the what they actually mean, the definitions. After all, that is the reason why we are here. Are you ready for the first one? I think we are. Here we go, Steve.
Straight from the horse's mouth. I didn't realise you wanted me to say that. Straight from the horse's mouth.
Look at that. And there it was with Mr. Steve's excellent voice. Straight from the horse's mouth. If we say that, though, as a phrase, what are we actually saying? We are saying that something came from a reliable source, or maybe it came from the person who is directly involved in that particular thing. So perhaps you receive some information, Steve, something concerning a certain thing, but the information came from that person, the person who is directly involved. You can say that the information came straight from the horse's mouth.
That's it. So what it means is that the information is going to be accurate. It hasn't come via 2 or 3 other people before it gets to you.
Mm.
And then you've got that issue of maybe information being lost, or when people often get information about something, they often either leave things out when they pass it on to the next person, or they add things in. And you can very easily do this. We've done this in work situations where you have 10 or 15 people in a row, and one person at the start gives somebody a message, and then it gets passed along, and by the time it gets to the end, the 10th or the 11th person, it's a completely different message.
Mm.
So to get some information from the horse's mouth means you get it from its original source, the person
Yes.
that first said it.
I suppose also you're saying that information can be trusted as well, because it came from a reliable person.
Yes, somebody. So in a real situation, you might hear about, I don't know, there's going to be some redundancies at work. Somebody says, I've heard there's going to be some redundancies at work.
Mm.
And you might say, are you sure? Where did you get that information from? And you might, and then your reply might be, I got it from the boss. I got it straight from the horse's mouth.
Mm.
The original source of the information.
Yes, reliable source of
That's
information.
right.
Here's the next one, Steve. Oh, this is something that when you're young, I suppose young people, kids often do this. They will involve themselves or take part in some horseplay. So this is normally aggressive or boisterous playing. And quite often boys do it, don't they? I remember as a kid rolling around in the dirt, getting mud in my face, and I was normally the one that was underneath a pile of other kids who were all doing it to me. Not a very nice thing.
Horseplay.
Boisterous playing.
Boisterous behaviour, being a bit silly, a bit stupid.
Hmm.
You might hear the teacher in a classroom say, stop all this horseplay.
Hmm.
It just means that people are shouting a lot, they're running around, they're just being boisterous and maybe a bit trying to be funny.
Hmm.
And it's disruptive behaviour.
Yes.
Is what that is suggesting. Just like horses will sometimes, I presume it comes from observation of horses, and when they're in a field they sometimes just sort of run around, don't they, and just start kicking up in the air for no reason.
Yes. Well, they can be quite violent towards each other as well. They can bite. Have you ever been bitten by a horse? Apparently horses, if they attack you, they will often bite you, and you can really suffer quite a nasty injury from.
There's a very funny video I saw recently, Mr. Duncan, about somebody outside. I think it was somewhere near the Houses of Parliament, something like that, or near Buckingham Palace, where they have the traditional horses are always there on guard, and there's a sign, and there's a man, in a big hat. I can't remember what they call them now, but
they're called bearskins.
That's it. In maybe in uniform, guarding the Buckingham Palace, where people go to see the people on horseback. And there's a sign by this horse saying, "Do not come near the horses; they will bite." And this tourist goes up to this horse, and it gets bitten quite severely on the arm. You can see that. I'm sure it's on YouTube somewhere.
Clearly, they did not read the sign. There were actually lots of those videos as well of people being attacked, or sometimes the guard sitting on the horse will shout at them, "Don't touch the horse! Stay away from the horse! Move away! Move away!" And it does happen, and a lot of people do like to film it for views.
Can I just say something quickly? A lot of people are asking about motorways in England. No, you don't have to pay to go on motorways in the UK, although there is one toll road now where you do pay, but that's an option. But yeah, it's free to go on motorways in the UK.
Yes, so most roads are free now. However, about 150 years ago, or even longer ago, or further in the past than that, you would always have to pay to use certain roads. They would call it a toll. So we do have, don't we? We have one or two motorways here in the UK that you do have to pay to use, but it can make your journey much quicker if you do it.
But mostly, you don't have to go on them. They're usually alternatives to other routes. But yes, the vast majority of roads, all roads are free, and all motorways are free.
Back to horses. Here we go, Steve. It's another one. A 2-horse race. So we often use this in politics. If there is an election, you might have 5 or 6 people who are putting themselves forward for election. However, they will often say that there are only 2 people that are likely to be nominated or chosen. So you might say that it is a 2-horse race. So even though there are lots of other things or other people or other horses taking part, they will say that really we only need to concentrate on those 2 horses or those 2 politicians, because basically it is a 2-horse race.
Yes, so in our recent election, you've got Labour, you've got Conservative, you've got Liberal Democrats, you've got lots of other parties, but in reality, it's always going to be either Labour or Conservatives that win. So it's in elections in the UK, it's always just a 2-horse race because Liberal Democrats are never going to win, and nor are the other parties. It's either going to be one or the 2 main parties that win. Even though there are lots of people in the debates and everything.
By the way, the hat is called a bearskin. Bearskin. Bearskin, as in the skin of a bear, which is what they are actually made of. They're very big. They're tall hats, and they're worn on the heads of the horse guards. Normally you will see them on procession during special events, or normally keeping guard as well outside Buckingham Palace, as Mr. Steve said earlier. You might put the horse before the carriage. This is an interesting one. There are many situations where we can use this particular phrase. Any ideas, Steve?
To put the horse before the carriage, or to put the horse before the cart, you can say as well. Does that mean you don't do something too soon?
It often means if you are doing things in the wrong order, or maybe you are misunderstanding something, you are putting importance on the wrong thing. So you are saying that thing is more important than that thing, so you concentrate on that. However, the other thing is the thing you should be concentrating on. You are kind of getting everything the wrong way round. You can say you are putting the cart before the horse, or you are putting... Actually, I've got that the wrong way round, haven't I? To put the horse before the carriage. It actually should be the other way round. That's my fault. So just ignore that. Ignore everything I've said there. To put the carriage before the horse is what it should say. And I've put it the other way round, Steve.
Right, okay.
We'll ignore that.
But we normally say cart before the horse, don't we?
Yeah, or carriage.
Or carriage, yes. It means that, it means that you're giving emphasis to the wrong thing.
Yes. Maybe next week I will get it the right way round.
Put the cart or the carriage before the horse. It
Anyway.
means you've got things muddled up. You've got things round the wrong way.
Yes, like I just did.
Literally.
Yes, literally. Here we go, Mr. Steve. I always think that certain people have a lot of horse sense. Horse sense. It's a great expression. And this basically means, to be honest with you, it just means common sense. Things that are sensible to do. So, common sense. We might describe a person who has horse sense. Or maybe you ask a person, or you tell them to use horse sense. It just basically means common, obvious sense. Normally relating to, I suppose, safety would be a good example of that. Safety in daily life, maybe.
So that's just really means common sense.
Hopefully I've got this next one the right way around. I have. Yes, this one is okay. You close the stable door after the horse has bolted. So you close the stable door after the horse has bolted, after it has run away. This is a good one, Steve.
Yes, it means that you've done something, you're too late. You've done something too late. Isn't that right, Mr. Duncan?
It is. You've taken action. You've tried to prevent something from happening. However, it has already occurred. The thing you are trying to prevent has already happened. This does occur quite often. People will close the door of the stable after the horse has run away. So you are trying to do something to prevent or to make something safer. However, the thing has already happened. In other words, you close the stable door after the
I'm trying
horse.
to think of an example of that that will make sense to people. Because obviously if you've left the stable door open, the horse can get out. It's no good closing it afterwards. It's too late.
That's it.
So we need to come up with an example of that.
Normally with safety, we often talk about safety. So if there is, I don't know, a bad accident occurs and we talk about how that thing could have been prevented or what they should have done, or maybe you are talking about the order in which they should have prevented it from happening. Quite often you might say, well, you're closing the stable door after the horse has bolted.
The damage has already been done.
That's
as Faribault has said.
Perfect.
It's too late now. The damage has been done.
Yes.
To whatever that could be. You could think of many examples for that.
Yes.
And in in Francesca says, in Italy we say, close the stable after the cows have bolted. Yeah, same thing. Put the cart before the horse. Oh, yeah, Nitram says, meaning reverse the proper order. Yeah, thanks for that, Nitram.
That's the one I got wrong.
That's it.
I do apologise for that. We are looking at phrases and expressions connected to that particular animal today. We are looking at horse phrases. Here's another one, Steve. You might flog a dead horse. Flog. Flog means to hit or beat something. You are whipping that thing. You are beating it. Flog a dead horse. This is a good one. I like this one. Mr. Steve, any ideas?
Yes, it means you're trying to get something going after when it means there's no hope of getting anything going. You're trying to. It's the phrase you often use is it's like trying to flog a dead horse. You might, for example, try to get your husband to put some shelving up, and you're talking to your friend. You might ask your husband to clean your car, or it could be an indication of laziness. You're saying to your friend, I've been asking my husband to put up shelves for weeks, but he won't do it. It's like trying to flog a dead horse.
Yeah. It is a fruitless task or a fruitless endeavour, something that will lead to nothing at all. So you are doing it, but it's pointless. There's no point doing it. It's over. Maybe if you have a TV show and the viewers are getting fewer and fewer. People are not watching anymore, but you try to improve the show and maybe introduce some different characters or make the theme music nice. But still, there are no viewers. The viewers are dropping. You might decide that you are just flogging a dead horse. We can't get anything else out of this. It is fruitless. It is pointless carrying on because it is like flogging a dead horse.
Yes, It could be related to anything that you keep trying to put effort into it. It could be a business that is not going very well, and you keep spending money on advertising. You keep trying to get people to say you've got a shop and it's just nobody's coming in, but you keep putting lots of effort in. For months, for weeks, you keep trying new things, sending leaflets out, advertising. The business still isn't improving. Somebody might say to you eventually, I should give up if I were you, because you're just flogging a dead horse. It means that thing you're trying to do, it's just not going to work.
Just give up, quit.
That's it.
It's over, basically. Here's another one, Steve. We've got to get through this because I've just realised it's nearly 3:30 already. Today's live stream has gone by very quickly for us. I don't know about you, but for us, it's gone by very quickly. To look a gift horse in the mouth, to question something that is given to you. So maybe you are looking closely or you criticise something that is actually given to you as a present, or maybe something that is given to you for free. You didn't have to pay for it. So don't question that thing. Don't ask questions. Don't criticise the gift. Just take it and be thankful. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. And
yes, accept something that's given to you sometimes, and don't question it.
Look a gift horse in the mouth. Here's another one.
Yes, it means you've been given something and it's really beneficial to you, but for some reason you're resisting it because maybe you think it's too good to be true.
Yes.
But you should accept it, is what your friend is telling you.
Here's another one, Steve. We've got a couple of more and then we'll move on. You might back the wrong horse. Oh, perhaps you are investing your money in a company, and that company, it turns out that it's not very well run, or maybe they are not performing as well as they said they were. You can say that you backed the wrong horse, or you back the wrong horse. So you bet on the wrong horse.
You should have chosen an alternative. You didn't do your research properly into seeing whether it was worth you putting money into that company. Yes, you could say that for if there was an election and there were a number of candidates that you wanted to support, but one of them isn't particularly good, and somebody might warn you not to, don't back the wrong horse. It means just don't support something that is likely to fail. We've actually got one here from Saturino as well, who's put one on. Have you got any more? I'll wait till you've put all yours up in case.
You can say it, Steve.
You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
That's a good one. I haven't got that. That's a very good one.
Thank you, Saturino.
Good.
You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. It means you can give advice to somebody about something, but it doesn't mean they're going to do it.
No.
So you might give relationship advice to somebody, for example. Oh, I don't think you should go out with that person because they're bad. They've been in prison. They've had lots of partners before. But it doesn't mean that the person you're giving advice to is going to take that advice.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be about relationships. It can be about anything.
So you can give advice, but it doesn't mean the person receiving the advice will actually accept it or do anything about it. We've got to move on, Steve, because we are horrendously running out of time. Here's another one. Maybe someone is going too quickly or too fast. Maybe they are getting very excited about something. They are really eager. They can't wait. I can't wait to do it. I'm so excited. And a person might say, wait, hold your horses. Hold your horses. Calm down. Wait a moment. So you might tell a person to hold their horses to as a way of calming that person down, or telling them, just wait a moment. I think that's quite a good one, actually.
Yes, you might tell somebody, your family, that you're all going on a holiday somewhere. We're off to Italy on holiday, and the children get all very excited and start talking about, what clothes they're going to buy, where are we going, what are we going to do when we get there, and the parent, the father or the mother might say, "Hold your horses, we're not there yet." We haven't made any plans. We've just said we're going to Italy on holiday. Hold your horses, don't get too excited.
Yes, just calm down, wait, just don't get too excited. Here's the last one, Steve. To take the reins. Reins. So, of course, it is the thing that's normally attached to the head of the horse. So you can control the horse to make it turn, or make it go, or make it stop, or perhaps you just hold on to the reins because the horse has gone crazy and you are trying to stay on. Take the reins. It is a great expression. It means take control or take command of something. You take the reins. You step in for another person, maybe in a company. Maybe the boss has gone on holiday. So you take the reins. You take control, normally for a brief, temporary period of time.
Yes.
So that is how we often use that as well. So I hope you've enjoyed those. Some interesting phrases, all connected to this lovely creature. Isn't that lovely? Little horsey. Just like the horse photograph that I took the other day. Isn't that beautiful? I still can't believe I took that with my iPhone. It just goes to show how wonderful technology is. Talking of technology, Mr. Steve, we are living in an age where everyone they're either getting excited about technology, like me, or like Mr. Steve, they hate technology. They hate the fact that every day of our lives we have to be controlled by machines and computers. And I suppose you would say that it is all part of modern life, living in this particular day and age. And I think, especially when you get to a certain age, Steve, like us, because I know we look young and beautiful, but we are beautiful, of course, but we're not as young as we look. We've been on this planet, between us, we've been on this planet for over, it's shocking, I know, 120 years. Mr. Steve and myself, together, over 120 years of experience that you're watching now. Isn't that amazing?
Well, yes. They used to say that in sales. When I was in sales, they'd look at all the experienced sales force and they'd say, "How many years' experience do we have around this table?" And there might be 10 people, and they'd all been, in sales for 110 years each.
Yes.
So they'd say there's 100 years of experience here. In reality, of course, it's a lot of that experience will be the same. It's a good phrase to use. Can I just say, Alessandra, very quickly, wants to know the pronunciation difference between rain, R-A-I-N, and rain, R-E-I-N. They're the same.
Yes.
It's the same. Rainfall. It's raining today. The weather's awful.
They are homophones.
The king reigns supreme.
Yes.
You pronounce them the same way.
So they have exactly the same pronunciation and sound, even though the spelling is completely different. Here we go, Steve. We have to move on. The facts. I suppose you would call it the lessons that we learn as well, or maybe the condition of living in the modern times, the facts of modern life. And there are many ways of looking at the world in which we live today. The point I was making, by the way, is that we've been around for a long time each. So our experience of life has changed a lot. So maybe the things that happened 30 years ago don't happen anymore. So this is what I'm trying to get to the point of today. The facts of modern life, the way things have changed over the years. Maybe not always for the worst. Sometimes things, of course, have got much better. But I suppose it depends on your point of view. Here we go, Steve. So I suppose this is the one that most people say, isn't it? The pace of modern life is more frantic. We often talk about frantic. I think that's a good word, by the way. So I think it's fair to point out that word. If something is frantic, it's hard to say, by the way. It's almost as bad as cinnamon. Modern life is frantic. It means it is sometimes chaotic, or maybe you feel as if you are always under stress or panicking about life. Something that is moving at a very fast pace can be described as frantic. And I think Mr. Steve is a good person to ask about this. He's a little bit older than me.
So only a few hours. Yes, well, of course, everybody throughout history probably not. If you went back a few hundred years, or even 100 years, probably 200 years, most people, at least half, if not 3/4 of people, life hadn't changed. Life hadn't changed for thousands of years. If you go back 200 years, it was pretty much the same. Most people worked on the land, in agriculture, and that was the way of life. And of course, things changed dramatically after the Industrial Revolution. But every subsequent generation since then, Industrial Revolution, of course, being in the 1800s sometime, or 19, about 150 years ago, then probably 200 years ago, actually now, it's got faster and faster because technology has increased. And, my parents used to say that their lives were fast and that modern life was fast. Their grandparents used to say we say it is. For every new generation, they always think, because that's what you're used to. Interestingly enough, as well, on that subject, I was listening to a very interesting podcast, I think it was, about how people in America and in a lot of countries, in Western countries, are complaining about how awful life is in the West now.
Yes.
But when by any conceivable measure, it in fact has never been better.
Yes.
And healthcare has never been better. Most people, poverty has shrunk dramatically.
Yes.
In most parts of the world, life has actually never been better now, if you look at average measures. But most of us, you get used to, don't you? You get used to your way of life.
Anyway, we're drifting away.
I'm straying off a bit, but
we're drifting away a bit from this.
It's good to always think that you probably are living in the best time ever.
Okay.
Even though we do probably moan about things.
Yes. Anyway, back to today. Back to this. The pace of modern life now, not 200 years ago, because I know things were hectic 200 years ago. You had to make sure that the horse had its new shoes put on, and the horse and carriage was properly tethered, and you had to look out for those flies flying around.
Sure, life was busy and stressful 200 years ago, but in a different way.
Anyway, now, which is what we're talking about, the pace of modern life. So I suppose we talk about new thinking, new ways, new technology, the pace of modern life. So these are the points that I think many people make when they start talking about modern life. And as I said a few moments ago, I think even since we met, Mr. Steve and myself, we met at the very end of the 1980s. Things were very different back then. No computers, no home computers. Well, there were some, but they were very basic. No cell phones, no smartphones. So we had to amuse ourselves. All we had was compact discs to listen to. That's all we had. We had nothing else to occupy our minds. So I suppose from that point of view, Steve, things have changed a lot in 35 years. So we don't even have to look back 100 years. We can just look back 30 years and see how modern life has changed. But I think these are common complaints that people make, and I'm sure you hear them all the time, Steve.
Yes, I think as well. I mean, from my point of view, and I look back now, what's really changed is that in most mothers now are continually working. See, when I grew up, I was probably my age, the last generation really when most mothers would stay at home and bring their children up and weren't expected to go to work. There weren't many, when I grew up, there weren't many mothers that went to work. The mother's role was very much in the home, cooking, cleaning, looking after the children. The husband went to work. I think that's what's changed so dramatically since I grew up. I think nowadays both parents are working quite often, and they may be sending their children to a nursery during the day. I think that's probably the biggest shift. And because when both parents are working, it's bringing more money into the home. And then I think people are more materialistic now, probably. I would say, I'm talking generally.
Yes.
Because I think there is more money about. People definitely have more money now than they did when I grew up. Much more money to spend on things. I mean, we didn't have many holidays when I grew up.
No. Anyway, Steve, again, can we talk about now, though? Because we're about modern life.
Yes, that's the change I'm talking about.
That's it.
Now, it's both parents are working, and I think there's more stress, maybe more pressure generally from that, because the husband's now expected to do things that the wife used to do, maybe more cleaning around the house.
Yes.
The relationship between a man and a woman in a relationship is now more equal, I think.
So I think the word is attitudes. So when we look at these particular things on screen, new thinking might actually refer to the attitude towards things. And you are right, what you just said about relationships, the way relationships have changed. Many people are now choosing not to get married, or even not to have a relationship at all. They want to just be a singleton. We used to use that phrase all the time, a singleton.
See, that's a very good positive, really, of modern life, because particularly women were trapped in relationships in olden days, shall we say, because they were dependent on the husband. They didn't have the means to earn an income from themselves. I'm talking generally now. It wasn't always the case, but generally the man went to work. So the woman was at a big disadvantage, because if she didn't like the relationship and she wanted to get out, she maybe would find that very difficult because she wouldn't have any money. And divorce, then a man, if you go back, even 50 years, a man could divorce, end a relationship, and the woman would get virtually nothing. But now that's not the case. So I think certainly women's rights have changed out of all recognition.
That's it. So that's another good way of looking at things. So new thinking, the way we see relationships, the way we see most things in life. I did mention earlier, by the way, Steve, one of the things that is certainly happening in this country is the way in which our working lives have altered over the years.
Yes.
And certainly from the point of view, now I did make a joke earlier saying that in this country they are going to raise the retirement age to 103. And to be honest with you, I wasn't that far off. But people might be working for much longer. So I think that is one of the facts of modern life. Don't expect your working life to end or finish when you think it might. So 65 used to be the age where most men, and I'm saying men because in that particular period, that is what happened. A man would retire at 65 and then they would spend, the couple in the relationship would spend the rest of their lives just relaxing and doing their own thing. However, these days, not quite the same. 65, 67, now they're talking about, in this country, raising it to 70. Working until you're 70.
Because, that's the other big change in demographics that has happened. There are far higher percentage of retired people now in the population than there were when we grew up. And that, of course, is a burden on taxpayers because it's taxpayers who pay for the state pension. Yeah. And probably people being born now may never even get a state pension.
Yeah.
A generation being born now will probably never get the state pension. They will be working and paying for the people that have retired.
This is one of the things that we often forget. When you and I work during our lives, the money that we pay isn't there anywhere. It's used. So we always have to rely on the next generation who are paying in to support the previous generation. That is the state pension, of course. But of course, that's the reason why many people nowadays decide to do private pensions.
If you're watching this and you're maybe late teens, early 20s, and you're starting work, if I was going to give anybody any advice, just save money. Get your own money, save a proportion of your money up towards your own retirement because it will come. And if you are in your early 20s now, you cannot rely on a state pension. So you have to make provision for yourself. And that is regular saving into some kind of pension yourself to make sure you've got money when you retire. Because there is no guarantee there is going to be anything for you when you get to retirement age.
What is the thing that they often say to us, Steve? You are the last of the generation who will enjoy, now I know this sounds extreme, enjoy life or have that structure in your life where you can go through life and everything will happen almost as if or as it should. But anyone coming after our generation, I think, are going to have a difficult time. Or maybe not the next generation, but maybe the next generation after that.
Maybe AI will solve all our problems, Mr. Duncan. We'll all be able to retire at 60 and AI will be taking care of everything for us.
Except it won't, because it's just software for good. We've had AI since the 1950s. For those wondering about AI, artificial intelligence has been around for a very long time. A computer is what we are talking about. A computer that can work things out, sums, numbers. So that is also a type of thinking. No machine can think for itself. They are not sentient. They can't feel emotions or pain. So they've been around for a long time. Even your little calculator, maybe 20 years ago or 30 years ago, people were using a little calculator to work out the sums. That is a form of AI because it is working out the maths for you. It's doing it. You're not doing it. Your brain isn't doing anything. You're just typing. The machine is doing it. So I think we are quite often overstressing the importance of artificial intelligence because, to be honest, it has always been around.
I think the change that they're saying now is that what it can do now is so much more. than
Yes.
it could ever do before, the calculations that it can do. But it's not going to, because what happens is, you see, when I was at school, they promised us, like yourself, Mr. Dunn, they promised us that technology would solve everything and we'd be working 3 days a week. And they used to say this to us at school, that you'll have a life of luxury in the future because
Yeah.
technology will take it. But of course, what happens is that technology comes along, and then it just means there's more. It just generates new work.
Mm.
In fact, it doesn't create less work; it
Yeah.
creates more work.
I think I think in the future, Steve, future generations will look back on this period, and they will say that there was a lot of deception taking place with how important certain things were, and one of them, of course, is technology. You can't replace this. You can't replace this up here, and you certainly can't replace this. And by this I mean your feelings or emotions. So I don't think artificial intelligence is anything to be afraid of, because it is part of the marketing strategy to get us all talking about it, so we can buy more things.
If it does do what it says it's going to do, they say it'll be as revolutionary as maybe computers were, or maybe the plough was. And it will probably put a lot of people out of work, but it will also create new work, because
Yes.
every new technology that comes along,
Yes, always has.
some people, they lose their jobs because of this new technology, but other jobs are created in the meantime. So it will be difficult for some people. The transition
Yes.
might be difficult, but there's always going to be change. And that's the one thing I always remember as well from school, is we had somebody come in from, I can't remember whether he was a business leader or something like that, and he just said, and I can still remember him saying it now, the word you need to embrace is change. He said, you will see more change in your lifetime, and I was probably 16 at the time. You will see more change in your lifetime than any other generation before.
Yes.
And that'll be the same for every other generation.
Yes.
Until they've invented everything.
And
You have to, that's the one thing you have to accept, is change.
Yes. But Steve, that brings us straight back to this. You see, we've come a very nice circle there back to the pace of modern life, and that is one of the things, isn't it? One of the things is you can't keep up. News. I think the news is one of the worst things that exists at the moment, because it is like looking into a fireman's hose pipe, and then he turns the water on, and then but that's my interpretation of the news. Everything is coming at you so fast, you can't actually take it in. You can't actually observe what is happening, because there is always something new appearing.
That's interesting. See, Marcia makes a good point, which is related to something that Nitram said earlier. We have the illusion that the past was better, because we always look back in the past with rose-tinted glasses, as we say.
Yes.
Because we tend to forget the bad things and remember. It's a bias that we've got in our brains. Nitram will probably understand it. Most people tend to remember the good things and forget about the bad things. So we think the past was better, but actually, when you actually logically look at it, it probably wasn't. And yes, the Nitram says that, of course, we were not around in the past, certainly not a long time ago, and our memories are bad. So it's all about comparison.
Yes.
So I mean, if you logically look at standards of life now, healthcare, everything else, women's rights, equal rights, everything actually has got a lot better. If you look at it from certain measurables, you could say that it is. And I'm sure that somebody 200 years ago, if they came into today's world, would say, I mean, we are all much better off. There's no doubt about it.
Steve.
When I was at school,
Okay.
I know my friends, I can remember there was a lot of real poverty around then. People weren't flying off, having 2 or 3 holidays a year when I was growing up.
No.
They just weren't. They weren't getting new cars every 3 years. They weren't having extensions built on their house.
And
People
Steve,
were just getting by. Now
we've got
people are doing all this. So there has been advances somewhere, at least in most Western countries.
Okay, I think we've only got 4 minutes, Steve. We've got about 7 more things to look at in 4 minutes. Here we go. Here's another one, Steve. Now, this is something a lot of people say about nowadays. Loneliness. Loneliness has increased. Society has become fragmented. Now, I love this word. Again, a very interesting word, just like frantic. Here we have another word, fragmented. Something that becomes fragmented is normally something that has become broken or broken up into lots of small pieces, small individual pieces that were once part of one thing. It becomes fragmented. And again, I don't want to talk about technology again because we've just covered that, but technology is part of it. Also, I think it's just because people deep down, a lot of people just like to be on their own anyway. So not necessarily lonely, because that is the negative form, but they like to be alone. Alone is just the state of wanting to be by yourself or in that individual situation. Loneliness, of course, is the psychological state of feeling lonely.
Well, some people, do like to be on their own. They do say that loneliness has increased. I don't know if it has, but certainly among the elderly, people say that. I mean, my mother always used to say how lonely she was after my father died. Families are now more split up. I mean, families used to have a child that you'd all stay in the same town or village, and families wouldn't move away. Now mobility is much easier. People go to university, then they discover new friends, and it's easy to drive somewhere new and get another job. And the families get split up, and then the parents, as they get older, unless they've got lots of friends and family around, they can become lonely, and then all their friends die, which is what happened to my mother. She was 93. She was the last one. All her friends had died. By the way, Lewis says, and Lewis, as we know, is been, let's just say, has lived a long and fruitful life, and is one of our more senior viewers. Says that I don't think the past was better. And I'm here to cry it out. It wasn't. Yes, I mean, we didn't have central heating when I grew up. What house now doesn't have central heating? There's another big improvement. It used to freeze in my bedroom at night. There was no heating in there.
Well, that brings us on to the next thing, Steve. The rise of what we call nostalgia. So nostalgia has become something that we almost build the present on. We look at the past quite often in an unrealistic way. We might assume that the past was much better when it actually wasn't. And sometimes we like to take away the things that we have now and make them seem worse than they were in the past. However, it is quite often the opposite way round. So I'm not saying that the past was great. Some people think that the past was a good time to live, as we always do. In fact, in 20 years from now, people then will be looking at this and saying how wonderful it was living in 2024. Wasn't life better then? We had so few things to worry about. But of course, because we exist in this time right now, we know it's not true. Just as people 50 years ago knew it wasn't true. So I think nostalgia is something that can create almost an illusion of the past, making it seem better than it actually was.
It's just the way our brains remember the past. Green plants for treatment, welcome. didn't say you didn't get notification for today. That's a shame. Mr. Duncan often finds that people don't get notified, but we're always here at 2 p.m.
Yes.
on a Sunday. So don't bother with your notifications. Just come on at 2 p.m. UK time, and we will be here.
Yes. Every Sunday. Every Sunday.
Exactly. Yes. So it's very easy. I think something that we do a lot, and it's very easy to get used to whatever your life is like. I mean, you might have no money worries, a nice job, a partner, but we often still find things to moan about.
Yes.
And then we watch the news, and you see people in other countries having a dreadful time, wars, floods, famine, and you suddenly think, oh yeah, I can't really moan about my life. My life is really just wonderful. But what is that quality of the human person that will find fault in the little things? So you've got food, you've got shelter, you've got a job, you've got a partner, and yet you still find something to moan about. It's something I want to stop doing.
Yes, it's actually, I think it's also a bit of human nature. Here we go. I think we've only got time for this one, Steve. People are more cynical. We are more willing to doubt and have suspicion of many different things, especially maybe people in authority, or maybe something that is given to you as a rule or a part of law. So I think we have become a little bit cynical. Another good word, by the way, jaded.
Jaded.
I think that's a great word. A person who is a little jaded. We can say that they have seen so many things or experienced a lot of bad things. Maybe they feel jaded by the rest of the world.
And quite often by other people. That's it. A cynical person is often cynical because they have had bad experiences with people and they don't trust people anymore. They believe that maybe people are out for what they can get. That sort of thing. Cynical. I'm a bit cynical, Mr. Duncan.
When in reality,
a bit jaded.
Well, in reality, we've always been like that. People have always been probably untrustworthy, or maybe people lie and they don't tell the truth. Quite often people in power might do the same thing. So I think being cynical it is a negative thing. But I also think, certainly in this modern age, I think being cynical is something you can't avoid because you receive the information at such a fast pace. You don't have time to absorb or think about it before the next thing comes along. So I think being cynical sometimes comes from that feeling of not knowing everything or not getting all of the information about a certain thing. And that also can present a feeling of being cynical. I think so. I think it can.
Sorry to hear about your father, Bella. And you say you didn't know the impact it would be. You never know, unfortunately. So our condolences to you, and we hope that you will have fond memories, and we'll be able to look back with fond memories. That's all you can really do.
And the same from me as well. Bella, this is something we've had to learn ourselves over the past couple of years. Mr. Steve lost his mother 2 years ago. I lost my mother around 1.5 years ago. So we both know that feeling very well, and our sympathy is definitely with you. We know exactly how you feel. Well,
it doesn't get much easier, I can tell you. Even 2 years later, it's still upsetting. But hopefully, the acceptance is very difficult of these things. But anyway, we don't want to end on too sad a note. But we are thinking about you, Bella. So our thoughts are with you at this difficult time.
Thank you for joining us today. We always appreciate you giving your time to us, and that is what encourages me to give my time to you as well. Don't forget, I've been here now for 18 years. A lot of people don't believe it. The early days of YouTube. I was the first English teacher on YouTube. It is true. You can check if you want, if you feel like it. Maybe you can ask ChatGPT later on.
And of course, we are grateful to the modern world and modern technology, because without it, you wouldn't be able to watch Mr. Duncan and his live streams.
Yes.
Everything. There is always positive to everything.
From my point of view, I always think that technology is a positive thing. Sometimes it does things that we don't like, but most of the time it is pretty good. And we can do this, you see. We can actually sit here and stand here and say, thank you very much for watching us today. Mr. Steve, you will be back next week. We will be approaching the end of September next Sunday. Can you believe it?
It certainly feels like it if you look outside the window and see the weather. Leaves are starting to turn yellow and gold, and they'll soon be falling off, because that's what happens in this country. We have distinct seasons, and winter's coming along, and the leaves will fall off the deciduous trees, and we will be stoking up the fire and sitting here in the nice, warm, cosy studio, teaching you some English throughout the winter period.
I can't believe it's the end of September next week. October is just around the corner. Of course, a busy month. A very busy month, October, because at the end of October it will be the anniversary, the official anniversary of my YouTube channel. Thank you, Mr. Steve, for joining us today.
Thank you. Lovely to be here. Lovely to interact with you on the live chat. If only I could see your faces, that would make things even better. But technology hasn't advanced to that stage yet. But lovely to be here, and see you all again next week.
Thank you, Mr. Steve. And there he goes. Mr. Steve is now leaving the studio. Hopefully, I'm hoping he is going into the kitchen to make a cup of tea, because my throat is dry after talking here for 2 hours. I've been here now for 2 hours and 10 minutes. I will be going in a moment. I hope you've enjoyed today's live stream. A couple of important things to mention. There will be captions later on the recording of this live stream. There will be captions later on. So that's why there is always a slight delay. There is always a slight delay between this and the recording. So when the recording is published on YouTube, there will be captions eventually. It does take quite a while to do it. Thank you for your company. I think I will be with you on Wednesday. Does that sound like a good idea? Shall we meet again on Wednesday and do this all over again? However, we will have some different subjects to talk about. Thank you very much for your company. I hope you've enjoyed today's lovely English Addict. Have a good weekend. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Have a super duper week. And I will see you on Wednesday. And of course, we will both be here next Sunday. It will be the 29th of September next Sunday. I can't believe it. We are almost leaving September. It's gone by so quickly. And of course, until the next time we meet here, you know what's coming next. Yes, you do. Take care of yourselves. Keep that smile upon your face as you walk amongst the human race. And of course, ta-ta for now. See you soon.